talk. Sometimes I feel like I need to explain to the internet and the universe how to be an appropriate human being in this world where we all have to live together in harmony.
Do you ever mean what she's saying?
Yes, all the time. There's a lot of times where in character I'll say something so cruel or, you know, something I'm thinking but I would never actually say as myself, and it's very liberating to be able to say things that I'm thinking.
Can I give you some advice?
Yes.
Never tell people when those moments are.
It took me about 2 years to fully come to terms with what happened on stage and to feel violated by someone that I trusted so much.
All aboard!
Colleen abusing the power and control that they had as influencers, and knowing that we were all kids and minors, they took advantage of that.
Toxic gossip train!
Where my favorite person in the world who could do no wrong loved my body the most whenever I was really skinny.
Stabbed me repeatedly in my bony little back.
My idol thinks that I'm too fat.
Oh no.
So that you can abuse that. And that was what happened here for many years.
Lies and rumors that you made up for clout.
Colleen, a 30-year-old woman, was sharing intimate details about her relationship and divorce with a boy who was 14 that she met on the internet.
Oh, I made a fart joke.
This woman groomed me.
Colleen Ballinger has released the worst YouTube apology video of all time. Probably the worst apology video ever made anywhere ever. And I don't even know where the to begin with how she did it.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry.
And I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I am so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm still sorry, and I will keep saying I'm sorry.
I am truly sorry for my actions and my behavior.
I understand how and why I, and only I, caused myself to get into this situation.
All aboard!
And to make matters even worse for her, none other than Trisha Paytas has entered the chat. So a quick recap for anyone just tuning into the Colleen Ballinger situation. It technically started on June 3rd, 2023. It was a day that felt like any other day. The Russia-Ukraine situation entered its 456th day, if you can imagine that. Heavy storms claimed the lives of 2 and injured 35 others in Japan. I was putting the finishing touches on my iilluminaughtii documentary and hallucinating that there were 4 black cats running around my apartment that weren't really there. Oh wait, no, yeah, that's my reality. And a little channel known as Cody Rants posted a damning tell-all video about their time as a fan of content creator Colleen Ballinger, who is more famously known as the character Miranda Sings.
I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm just like, F it, I'm just gonna talk about what I wanna talk about, and if you don't like it, that is your problem, not mine.
Now, let me see if I can summarize this as quickly as I can for any of you watching who may have missed part 1 of my Colleen Ballinger docu-series. It is linked below. 10 out of 10. Recommend you watch for the full and complete story, which also has my interviews with several of the key victims, including Adam McIntyre, Johnny Silvestri, Becky, Alex, and Ella. They shared some truly shocking and heartbreaking details of what they experienced at the hands of Colleen Ballinger and others. It is worth the watch. Definitely recommend you check it out. It's linked below.
I remember coming to her because I didn't want to tell my parents about it, because Colleen would tell me that she's confiding in me with information and don't tell anybody, because then, you know, she's trusting me with this, and if I tell people, she will not be able to trust me. And so I'm like, shit, like I don't want to, you know, ruin this. I remember telling my friend that I felt like I was going through a divorce that was so like affecting my own life.
Now, in Cody's June 3rd video, Cody Rants, aka Cody Tyler, alleged, but with evidence, that Colleen Ballinger had spearheaded a coordinated conspiracy to silence and discredit 20-year-old YouTuber Adam McIntyre, who had previously made allegations back in 2020 when he was just 17 that Colleen had not paid him for work he did for her, and strongly, but not directly, implied that he was a victim of grooming, since the entirety of their relationship lasted from when Adam was 13 through 17 years old. Yeah.
As we're aware, Cody Tyler has now came forward that during this time, Colleen leaked all of these messages to Cody, and said that I was a manipulative person, I was an evil person, I was trying to take her down, I was threatening her son, I was trying to ruin her career, I was doing this, when in reality, you've now seen the truth, that I basically, from the years of 2017 to 2020, basically was Miranda Sings.
Cody's validation of Adam kicked off a series of events that led to around a dozen YouTube videos from Adam laying all of his own evidence on the table for everyone to see, and now explicitly claiming that he was groomed.
And I just was like, this woman used me. This woman groomed me.
Which, let me make it clear, in my opinion, he was. And as many of y'all know, that's me speaking from long-time experience, because people want to act like what happened to Adam was nothing. I'm saying, as someone who was viciously sexually groomed as a child, who has spent the last many years studying the warning signs and making content and documentaries around it, I believe Adam was groomed. What quickly followed was a social media firestorm, with dozens of people making similar accusations against Colleen, as well as multiple members of her family and friends being accused of grooming, or worse, as if grooming wasn't enough already.
Colleen, I don't know how you sleep at night knowing that you have hurt so many people. It blows my mind. I think you lack empathy completely.
Like, I talked to this woman about so many embarrassing things, looking back, and I'm like, shit, I had no boundaries with her. And then I'm like, no, she actively broke those down by openly praising me for having no boundaries with her, or her having none with me. It makes me feel so, like, yucky.
Her video came out and I was just shocked, to say the least, that she didn't at least acknowledge the stuff that her own fans were saying, how they felt, you know.
Now, as a result, multiple sponsors dropped Colleen, and a re-examination of the legacy of Miranda Sings ensued. You know, the internet does what the internet does, okay? She's a stingy bitch when it comes to this stuff, and we love her for that. Now, Miranda Sings, being a character who may not have intentionally been made for children, but over the past decade and a half has garnered an almost exclusively underage audience who support her not only online, but at her own countless live shows across the world. Now, in light of these staggering developments, most of which occurred in a mere 3-week period, which is mind-blowing if you think about it, Colleen Ballinger stayed silent. She went on tour, playing multiple shows where she didn't address anything. In the meantime, I put together as comprehensive a doc as possible that, again, I recommend you watch before we get into this, on the timeline of allegations as we know it, that include my personal interviews with multiple victims. Now, in my documentary, I mentioned it was a docu-series, and I promised a part 2 that was going to dig into some of the other monstrous allegations. Trust me, it gets so much deeper. But then Colleen dropped this giant FU of a response video. So because of that, like I said on Twitter, my part 2 docuseries just became a 3-part docuseries. So congratulations, Colleen, you're getting the thorough Swoop treatment here. And so today in this one, this is now part 2, will be a full response with actual facts to Colleen's apology video. And y'all, I'm telling you right now, make sure you stay tuned for part 3, because if you thought everything we've covered so far was intense, part 3 is going to shock you, including an explosive and exclusive interview with someone in this story who everyone wants to hear from. So I don't know, make sure y'all are following me on Twitter, because I will be announcing more details on this as things continue to develop, and sharing some shocking revelations over there as well, because there are so many pieces to this whole story. Okay, now back to our timeline. So after weeks of silence, Colleen's best friend, Corey DeSoto, of all people, allegedly posted this to Snapchat on June 27th, 2023. Quote, "The truth will set you free." I'm sorry, the truth will set me free? The does that mean, Corey? Like, if you actually posted this, there's a good chance it was a hint of things to come, since the following day, on June 28th, Colleen Ballinger finally responded by, well, not actually responding at all, at least not how one would hope. So, you know, so much for the truth setting us free. And let me be clear, this video is not a response, it's not an apology. And contrary to what Colleen says in this disaster piece theater, she sure as hell is not taking accountability for her actions. I know. Shh. shocking, right? Does celebrity influencer not taking any accountability for the massive amount of serious and damaging allegations made against him? Who would have thought? I mean, listen, I made a doc on this about like a year or so ago. Have you seen the video Sienna May made in response to being accused of SA by Jack Wright, where she just dances and that's it? Yeah, that's the thing. And somehow this response video, Colleen's response video, is worse than that. And you could tell because when I start getting to grabbing little things like this in the air, Professor Petty is pissed, okay? Sorry, let me not get ahead of myself. It is by far one of, if not the worst responses I've ever seen posted to the internet. I have no words for how bad this response is. No, actually, you know what? Scratch that. A bitch got a lot of words, okay? So we're gonna do something different today and break this response down piece by piece, point and counterpoint, to lay out all of the bullshit Colleen seems to want to ignore with actual evidence and receipts. Because I am a thorough and learned bitch, and she might try to sweep this under the rug, but Swoop is here to clean the whole damn house and hold a yard sale, okay? Telling you, when the accent starts coming out, then you really gotta worry. But most importantly, you know, lighthearted tone aside, I reached out once again to some of the victims who have come forward to share their stories about their experiences with Colleen, and today you'll hear their thoughts and reactions about Colleen's response video directly from them. I think it's always important we hear from them as much as possible. But first, oh hi there, hello, hi, it's my face again, Swoop! Hi, if you're seeing me for the first time, welcome. I make documentaries and short films on unsolved cases, true crime, and social media influencers who abuse their power and manipulate audiences because, as I always say, it's not drama, it's dangerous. We also dig deeper into the root psychology, and sometimes we take it to Petty University, okay? Once again, we got the full uniform on, cause honey, y'all know, okay, Petty is my love language. Petty is my coping mechanism for the asshats of the world. If you want to join the Petty University community, all are welcome, and you can grab your exclusive Petty University apparel. The shop is linked below as always. And also, oh my gosh, I am so excited to say that a limited edition new Petty University apparel collection is in the works. I have literally been working on this for over a year and is coming very, very soon, like probably in the next upload, which would be part 3 of this series. It has become like my absolute most favorite collection. You're gonna freak out when you see it, so that is coming soon. Also, are you following me on Instagram? Join me on my quest. I am trying to finally make it to 100,000 followers so that I can be a real influencer in these streets, okay? But I would love to have you. That's where I actually post most often, where I ask a lot of questions of all of you, reply to DMs. My handle is linked below. We just hit 60,000 followers over there. Thank you so much. And I know we could literally hit 100,000 overnight, which would just be incredible. So that is all linked below. Okay, we are gonna dive face first into this, but real quick, a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Their mattress has completely changed my life and how I sleep, and I love it so much that I even got one for my mom. So I don't know about you, but my sleep used to suck, okay? Like, I would toss and turn all night. I could never fall asleep right away, and living with chronic pain, my body would feel wrecked in the morning. Like, seriously, if someone told me that they had a good night's sleep, I was like, how? Like, what'd you do? And now I know, because ever since I got my Helix Sleep mattress almost a year ago, I am hands down getting the best sleep that I have ever had. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses that are customized to fit your needs and conveniently ship right to your front door. Everybody is different, and Helix knows that, so they made a sleep quiz to match your unique body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress just for you. And if you sleep with a partner, you could take the quiz together and you'll find the perfect match for both of you. Like, okay, I am a back and side sleeper and prefer a medium firm mattress, and based on my quiz results, I was matched with their Midnight Luxe mattress, and I upgraded it with the Glacio Text cover to keep me cool, and ooh, honey, it is the best thing ever. Oh, this is the greatest bed ever. For the first time in my life, no joke, I fall asleep within minutes. That never happened to me before, and I don't toss and turn. I'm not nearly as stiff in the morning. It has been so life-changing that for Mother's Day, I actually surprised my mom with her own Helix Sleep mattress, and she is just as obsessed as I am, and I even got a third mattress for a guest room. Yes, I am that serious about this. The best part about all of this is that Helix Sleep delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the US. The mattress comes rolled up in a box and is super easy easy to set up yourself. And bonus, unlike other brands, Helix mattresses do not contain fiberglass, which can be harmful to your health. And maybe the coolest part of it is if it makes you nervous to buy something that you haven't tried, Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure you love it. Plus, Helix mattresses have a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options like flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I absolutely love my Helix mattress, so does my mama, and I think that you will too. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix Sleep and tap the link below or go to helixsleep.com/swoop to get a huge 20% off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows. That is such an amazing deal. So give it 100 days and treat yourself to the sleep that you deserve, honey. Okay, back to the doc. Once again, thank you all for continuing to just watch these docs, to share it with your friends and family. It really means so much for the message and the words that we are sharing together in support and advocacy. I think it's so beautiful. And thank you again for checking out the sponsors. It's a great way to get something of benefit for you and also to help support this channel. And I really appreciate that. And today I will be making a donation from the sponsor proceeds to the organization RAIN, who is a phenomenal organization. If any of you are having difficulties or trouble, especially in regards to abuse, RAIN is a great resource that you can reach out to anonymously. Also, really quick, I just gotta say this. Wow, we just hit 500,000 subscribers here, and I'm shook. I am so beyond honored and so grateful to have each and every one of you here. I never thought, for those of you who know my story, I had to start completely over from zero. I had an old channel that had like 650K, and it was just absolutely destroyed overnight. Had to start over, had no idea that we would be able to build such a beautiful community that means more to me than anything that I have ever built. And this is all us. This is all us building this together. And I just appreciate all of you being here so, so, so much. Okay, we're ready to dive into this. First off, a content heads up, just like with part 1, we will be discussing themes of grooming, abuse, gaslighting, chronic illness, manipulation of minors, and Kevin Spacey.
I showed you exactly what people are capable of.
Sensitive words and images will be censored per usual, but I just want you to have a heads up. As always, all of these statements are alleged. I will be sharing others in my opinion based on the available information and research and interviews. Please form your own opinion. Do not spread any hate. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm so curious. Now, buckle up, class in session.
That aren't quite true. Doesn't matter if it's true though, just as long as it's entertaining to you. Right? You guys having fun?
The first thing to note about Hi, a video that will go down in history as probably the worst response to allegations against a YouTuber ever, is that it's not on the Colleen Ballinger channel, which has over 8.5 million subscribers. It's not on the Miranda Sings YouTube channel, which has over 10 million subscribers and is also at the root of many of these allegations. No, it's on Colleen Vlogs, which is Colleen's 3rd channel with nearly 3.5 million subscribers. It's her smallest channel. To me, especially given what she says in the video, this is much like Colleen's original Addressing Everything video from 2020. Yet another avoidance and deflection tactic used to minimize the very clear severity of the accusations so that she can say she addressed everything while addressing nothing. Well, I mean, unless you consider it addressing shitty songwriting, which, you know, gold stars. Colleen demonstrates that quite well. I'm sure she already got her Grammy acceptance speech greased up and ready to go. Anyways, make no mistake, she posted this on her smallest platform, likely hoping it might get overlooked by her remaining fans who somehow still don't know or care about what's been going on. Okay, straight out the gate, I've got a few thoughts, okay? First of all, a ukulele, a fucking ukulele.
Oh.
I just like, what in the whole grain bitch ass bullshit? No, no, no.
No way. No way. She's going for the ukulele right off the bat.
Listen, I don't know how anyone can get through to Colleen at this point, but if it takes telling her on every screen possible that it ain't it, then fine. This ain't it. This ain't it. This damn sure ain't it. Hell no, this ain't it. Bitch, you thought, but this ain't it. Nope, still ain't it. Never was it. Never gonna be it. This shit ain't it. Right. So, secondly, y'all, this staging and lighting is really giving me like Kevin Spacey abuser era vibes.
I know what you want.
Right off the bat, my jaw dropped when I saw this video. And I said, no f***ing way, is she gonna sing? Is she gonna sing in response to allegations of child grooming and endangerment and sending porn to minors and fostering an unsafe environment made worse by her brother who is allegedly a groomer and her best friend who is allegedly a groomer and an abuser? I mean, is this really happening?
Hey, it's been a while since you saw my face. I haven't been doing so great, so I took a little break. A lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true. Doesn't matter if it's true though, just as long as it's entertaining to you. Right?
Let's talk about this for a second. Colleen, I'll say this softly. Colleen, since you said it wasn't quite true. Colleen, I'm wondering, can you be a bit more specific about which part isn't true, Colleen? Is it the part where you sent nudes to minors to body shame your friend, Colleen? Or the part where you asked your underage boy for pictures of his ass, Colleen? Or was it the part where you exploited countless minors on stage for the sake of a joke, Colleen? Or maybe it was the time you weight shamed a young fan to their face, giving them body issues for years, Colleen? Or maybe it was the part where you made an absolute mockery of chronic illnesses like fibromyalgia for millions of people to watch. Was it that part, Colleen? Okay, sorry. Please do continue.
All aboard the toxic gossip train. Chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station. Toxic gossip train. Tie me to the tracks and harass me for my past. Cause rumors look like facts. If you don't mind the gaps, I won't survive in the crash. But hey, at least you're having fun. Hi everyone. I've been wanting to come online and talk to you about a few things.
There's so much to break down here. First of all, what in the actual whole grain sugar-free Colleen? The toxic gossip train? I can't. Like, we're gonna have... Okay, we're gonna have to... Petty University, roll the intro. You call this the toxic gossip train. The toxic gossip train? Well, bitch, okay, conductor Swoop has entered the tracks. It is time for some truth. Okay, so everyone, just all aboard the petty train, buckle up. This isn't a Marvel movie, and you're not fighting badly rendered CGI villains, Colleen. You're writing a song about your fans who were children and were groomed, exploited, abused, and taken advantage of in countless ways. The receipts are there, yet you want to characterize this as toxic gossip. Toss goss? Are we really here? Okay, toss goss. I'm just like, on what corner of Harry Styles' universe is it considered gossip when it is coming straight from the source? Do I need to call upon Oxford and read the definition of gossip? Casual or unconstrained conversation or reports about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed as being true. We've seen the receipts, the texts, the videos, the posts. We've heard straight from the victims' mouths. Many of these details have been confirmed as being true. I mean, Colleen, can you please just find your seat in the back of the petty train and sit your unapologetic booty ass down, okay? Class dismissed.
And harass me for my past. Cause rumors look like facts. If you don't mind the gaps, I won't survive in the crash. But hey, at least you're having fun.
Now, I have a serious question here. Why do you, Colleen, why do you think this is fun for Adam, Becky, Alex, Johnny, Ella, Oliver, and even some other folks I haven't named who have spoken out against you? Do you honestly think this is fun for them? Do you think it's fun for your fans now? Or was it that you couldn't resist the urge to belittle their very valid feelings every chance you could in this D-level off-Broadway musical? Let me echo the voices of so many and be clear. These victims, your alleged victims, are reliving their trauma every single day, and most of them have asked for something very simple: an apology, a genuine one. What would you like Colleen to do now? Is there an action that she could do, that her family could do, that would change anything?
Well, I can only speak for myself. And 2 weeks ago, I tweeted and said, if Colleen and Corey do a private apology to both me privately my mother privately, my mother publicly, me publicly. I'll never talk about the situation again. And I'll just like deal with this in private. It's been 2 weeks. She's gone on tour since. She's selling canceled merch since. She's ignoring it. She's refusing to comment to journalists. I don't think I'm gonna get that. So I don't know what happens next. I literally do not know what happens next.
None of that sounds very fun. That sounds like the pursuit of closure to me, something they clearly will never find from you. And need I remind you, they didn't even start this. Cody Tyler did with this video, which Cody initially privated and has now unprivated since part 1 of my docuseries came out, for now at least. But when Cody first posted it, they posted it, then disappeared from the public stage the second this became a bigger deal. Now, I can't say for sure why Cody did this, but don't you dare accuse any of these people shining a light on your inappropriate behavior as having fun. Actually, when I think about it, you know who was having fun? You. When you developed a character named Miranda Sings, whose sole motivation and inspiration, according to your own words, was so that you could make fun of your fellow college classmates for pursuing their dreams.
And I went to a private Christian university, and there was a lot of people in my program who were just had the characteristics of Miranda, the character that I do.
Which are what? It's cocky?
Cocky, and just, they talk like this. And just like, they just thought they were so good, and they would record themselves singing songs and post it online for everyone to see, and no bad comments, they only wanted good feedback.
You were also having fun because you got to say all the mean, nasty things you ever hoped to say under the Miranda disguise.
Mean what she's saying.
Yes, all the time. There's a lot of times where in character I'll say something so cruel, or something I'm thinking but I would never actually say as myself, and it's very liberating to be able to say things that I'm thinking.
Can I give you some advice?
Yes.
Never tell people when those moments are.
Being a victim of abuse and trying to process that on a massive public scale is not fun. It's f***ed up. And you could have helped bring closure, but instead, you brought a ukulele. So who's really the one having fun with this? But hey, we're only a minute into this 10-minute disaster piece. I don't know, maybe you'll apologize later. We'll find out.
Even though my team has strongly advised me to not say what I want to say, I recently realized that I never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say. So here I am, and today I only want to talk about the facts. So I hope that you'll be willing to listen.
So your team didn't want you to do this, and you did it anyway. Devoid of context. Good. What's really interesting about this line, and something that I want all of you to keep in mind as we watch ahead, Colleen says she's only interested in the facts. To my knowledge, there is very little in the way of facts in this video, but more so a whole lot of feelings. Specifically, Colleen Ballinger's feelings.
Many years ago, I used to message my fans, but not in a creepy way, like a lot of you are trying to suggest. It was more of a loser kind of way, where I was just trying to be besties with everybody. It's kind of like when you go to like a family gathering, and there's a weird aunt there who keeps coming up to you and going like, "Hey girl, what's the tea?" And you're like, ugh.
Okay, Colleen, you're so close here, Colleen. You definitely messaged fans inappropriately. That is a fact. But I'm gonna take away a point here for you characterizing it as you being a loser and not a creep, okay? This is inappropriate. This is not the act of just a loser, though to be clear, although I will refrain from calling you a loser, you are currently losing and you are lost. So you can have your point back.
I've been sharing my life online for over 15 years. I've poured my heart out to you, and because of that I feel like I'm talking to my friends, but in the beginning of my career, I didn't really understand that maybe there should be some boundaries there.
This is so disingenuous on so many levels, Colleen. Like, let me tell you right now, the weird aunt coming up and asking me for tea could be a bit odd, but we all know the weird aunt is kind of cute, quirky, and endearing. Judging by that ukulele, you want us to believe that you're that person, but you're not the mean girl's mom, and this is not tea.
There are no rules in this house. I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
This was you, a 30-something-year-old powerful celebrity woman asking 14-year-old fans for advice on your divorce.
And then in 2016, really after my birthday, really starting on my birthday, actually, my 14th, was whenever I really had to start hearing about how abusive Josh was and how traumatic her life was, and do I have any advice for her on how to get out of this situation? And it was really that pivotal moment after that meet and greet and live stream in 2016. And I mean, from then on was just like a lot.
This was you asking a 14-year-old for pictures of his behind.
I mean, I knew in the moment she was closer in age to my mother, but I was like, oh, she's like my cool friend. Like, and the not having boundaries was kind of like an exciting thing of like, oh, she can talk to me about anything and I can talk to her about anything. And I mean, that's just wildly inappropriate.
This was you talking about your worst menstrual situations to minors as young as 12. This was you talking about your ex-husband's privates to minors. Like, if my weird aunt did any of that, my weird aunt would get her ass thrown out of the party and cut off from the family photos, okay? That's just the reality there.
Boundaries there. There were times in the DMs when I would overshare details of my life, which was really weird of me. I haven't done that for years, you see, because I changed my behavior and I took accountability. But that's not very interesting, is it? So let's go on the toxic gossip train. The locomotive's fueled with hateful accusations. The toxic gossip train.
And this wasn't at the beginning of your career, which, need I remind you, Colleen, was back in 2008. We don't actually have receipts like these from the beginning of your career. Instead, we have the weird, like, ableist shit you allegedly posted on your live journal back then, where you claim you think your mom gave you R-slur genetics, but that hasn't really been relevant to the allegations at hand. But we do have screenshots from 2016 through 2020, and we even have a receipt with a timestamp of you allegedly responding in the group chat in 2022. Can we do the math? That was a year ago. For over a decade of your career, you were inappropriate in group chats with minors, including one named Adam McIntyre, who, you seem to need a reminder here, you stopped talking to him before he turned 18.
And I was ignored from this point on. Yep.
Like, you sent him panties when he was 13.
Okay, maybe he'll want the panties, although then his parents will be like, you're not allowed to watch who is sending you panties.
You made a video about him when he was 17.
Receipts proving the things that I'm about to tell you. However, I feel uncomfortable sharing them because he is a minor. So
You had no problem communicating with Adam when he was a minor between the ages of 13 and 17, but conveniently have never talked to him after he became a legal adult. What the f is that, Colleen? What does that say? And it's not like he shut you down. He said, please just give me an apology, privately and publicly. Sorry, my voice goes up really into like the stratosphere of octaves when I get really frustrated. Let me bring back the petty a little bit. As for 2023, how do you explain, Colleen, that you were still in the Instaweens group chat for years after you made that video? That's right, you left that group chat in June 2023. Wait, gee, what year is it? It's 2023. What month is it? Oh, it's also June. At 4 a.m., when all of the former minors you say were your friends were asleep, you left that group chat. And sidebar, Colleen, you say that you stopped talking to them because you took accountability. When? To me, it looks a lot like you stopped responding as soon as they became adults. Do you care to comment, Colleen?
One's reputation, toxic gossip train. Hop on board but close your eyes, otherwise you'll realize that the train is made of lies and that person you despise maybe didn't deserve to die, but hey, at least you're having fun.
Who died, Colleen? You said, quote, that person you despise maybe didn't deserve to die. Did you die? I mean, this is what the crowd you played to a couple of nights before sounded like. Tons of applause and laughter, so at least you're having fun.
In all seriousness, I do think it's really important to hold people accountable for their mistakes. We should hope that everyone can learn from their mistakes and grow and change their behavior and be a better person. And this is something that I've always tried to do when I make mistakes, and it's something that I will continue to try to, Oh, you don't care? Oh.
We're over 3 minutes into your 10-minute video and you haven't addressed a single thing, honestly.
You want me to take accountability?
Now, this might be the only part of the video that I agree with, so good job, Colleen, here's your applause.
But that's not the point of your mob mentality, is it? No. Your goal is to ruin the life of the person you despise while you dramatize your lies and monetize their demise.
I haven't monetized anything. I just got home from work bartending all goddamn day, you asshole.
Now, in all honesty, I could joke about this all day, but the tone of this entire video is really flippant and frankly kind of f***ing mean. Like, actually just like cruel. Intentionally. Like, you've been accused of grooming children. You've been accused of sexually harassing children. You've been accused of sending illicit photos to minors. And yet you have the whole grain audacity because this is how you choose to respond. Some of the people you impacted as children are just barely becoming adults now, trying to process this. And you know, let's not let Corey DeSoto off the hook either. Is this what you meant by allegedly posting that truth will set us free? Did you post that for her, Corey?
I feel like I can already hear the comments on this video. She's gaslighting, manipulating. Oh, she's a narcissist and a rat. I would never make a mistake like that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that all of you are perfect. So please criticize me. Bring out the daggers made from your perfect past and stab me repeatedly in my bony little back.
Who is this song for, Colleen? It's not for Adam, Becky, Johnny, Ella, Oliver, Alex, or anybody else who's made these allegations. Now, some people online believe this is a song strictly for the people who still support Colleen after all of this, you know, kind of like writing an anthem for the remaining fans. Now, me personally, I think this is a song for you, Colleen, and you alone. You know why? Because Darvo. You know, that whole deflection strategy often used by abusers to victim blame and skirt accountability. You know, it really is a shame that there have been so many examples of behavior by massive public figures this year alone that I need to define Darvo again. I mean, I just defined Darvo in the Illuminaughtii documentary, but you know, I do believe that it is always important I break this down for any of you out there watching who might be suffering from a Darvo relationship or experience right now. So let me break down what Darvo is and why this video is a disgustingly prime example of it, in my opinion, allegedly. Darvo is an acronym for Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim and Offender. It was created in 1997 by Dr. Jennifer Fried, a professor of psychology at the University of Oregon, and has been helping abuse survivors identify harmful behavior ever since. It is a manipulation tactic that abusers or alleged abusers often do when they're being asked to hold themselves accountable for their misdeeds, where they deny the accusations, attack the victim or, you know, those calling them out, and reverse the roles, painting themselves to be the victim and the actual victim to now be the offender. Colleen is denying her behavior here by diminishing what she did. According to Colleen, she wasn't inappropriate. She was the weird aunt. Colleen's attacking the people who made these allegations by characterizing them as being part of some toxic gossip trade. Okay, the toss goss has arrived, where Colleen wants you to believe that children are harassing her, not the other way around. And beyond that, with this imagery she's painted of Colleen being dead on the tracks, she's attempting to reverse the roles of victim and offender and make it sound as though the victims, like Adam, Becky, Oliver, Alex, Johnny, Ella, I will continue to say their names, Colleen, I believe she's trying to make them think in a way that they killed her. What makes this even more insidious is the power dynamic at play here, because even in a janky ass ukulele fest of a video, Colleen still holds the majority of the power. For Darvo to occur, a power imbalance must exist. It is most effective when the abuser has more social capital than the survivor. If the abuser is a member of a dominant group and the survivor is a member of a disenfranchised group, generally the survivor is less likely to be believed. People who are likely candidates for Darvo are survivors who confront their abuser, whistleblowers, and socially vulnerable individuals or groups. You know who falls perfectly in that category of socially vulnerable? Superfans, where all they want is to enjoy their idols. Now, in efforts to really drive this reality petty train home, I'll break it down in painstaking detail side by side, point and counterpoint, using the warning signs of Darvo as explained by a licensed clinical social worker. You know, a professional. Constant denial. Denial is the hallmark of the Darvo strategy. If someone denies their behavior anytime you confront them about an issue, you are likely in a Darvo relationship.
How stupid am I? No, I definitely should have never given him access to my Twitter account. And no, I shouldn't have talked to him as often as I did. But I am not a monster. I am not a groomer. And I
me that aren't quite true. Doesn't matter if it's true though, just as long as it's entertaining to you.
Deflection. The abuser can avoid taking accountability for their behavior if they take the focus off themselves and deflect onto someone else, usually the victim.
Should have realized and recognized how dumb that was and never sent it to him, no matter how much he asked.
You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station.
Minimizing their behavior. The perpetrator may admit that there was a fight, but they will claim the victim is blowing things out of proportion.
Never a sneaky, creepy, gross thing that I was doing in secret. It was a silly, stupid mistake that now is being blown way out of proportion.
I've been sharing my life online for over 15 years. I've poured my heart out to you, and because of that I feel like I'm talking to my friends.
And diminishing your credibility. If you tell others about the abuser's bad behavior, they will likely tell people that you are crazy or somehow out to get them. When talking about Darvo, there's a very real chance that what I said just now sounds familiar to many of you watching, and if so, please understand that you are not alone in this, and there are resources available to help you through the abuse you may be suffering from, like the organization RAIN, who you can communicate with anonymously to get the help you need. Please know you deserve to live a life where you feel safe always, and this will get better, I promise. In my opinion, Colleen Ballinger's textbook Darvo/ukulele disaster piece is absurd.
I'm sure you're disappointed in my shitty little song. I know you wanted me to say that I was 100% in the wrong. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna take that route of admitting to lies and rumors that you made up for clout. Hey everybody, I found someone new to harass. She did some things that I do not like in her past. So everybody gather around, cause we're about to attack, but not based on facts, oh no.
Yes.
Your loaded lethal weapons, your fingers on the keys. You don't need any armor when you can hide behind a screen. So shoot me down quick, with a click and bam. The reputation's deceased.
So what you just heard was Colleen taking this a step beyond the stance she was taking before by flat out characterizing all of this as lies and rumors, and even flat out stating that she won't take accountability for them. And I'm just wondering, where is the lie? Like, where is the lie, Colleen? Is it this part where you gaslit a child about a Meghan Trainor joke so you didn't have to pay him? Or is it this part where you and Corey DeSoto sicked your fans on Alex and had them get bullied after you weight shamed them? Or is it the personal allegations made against you by the many former fans of yours?
Literally, how I look back on my teen years now, and I feel like I don't like looking back on them. Like, she just kind of stripped me of a lot of innocence and put a lot of responsibility on me, and kind of really with my like mental growth of those like important years. To whenever I speak up against her and she flips it against me, abusive.
Is Adam a liar for telling a story about how you abandoned him in a city he was unfamiliar with when he was a teenager?
Are not there. I feel that Colleen has left me. I feel like I'm abandoned in a city I do not know.
Is Alex a liar for saying you betrayed their friendship and gave them body image problems that sent them to therapy?
It led to a lot of body image issues. It was definitely something that, you know, after it happened, I thought about it a lot, but I was too scared to tell anyone because I felt like I should be grateful for meeting my idol and meeting a YouTuber when so many people couldn't meet her and things like that.
Is Johnny lying about you sending nudes mocking your friend Trisha?
Just saying sorry. She started this inside joke where she said she complimented me and said I looked good that day. And instead of including a picture of me, she included a picture of Trish, which unraveled and turned into this inside joke where I would receive dozens of nude photos of Trisha Paytas.
And sending them to Adam as well?
The messed up part is I think she already had this inside joke with Adam at the time, and she was just recycling it with me because clearly he thought it was funny, so why wouldn't I? I was 22 at the time of Bus Tour.
Is the entire effing audience at your show lying about watching you stuff cheese balls in your pants and ask child after child after child to reach in there in front of everyone?
Having a great deep, having a great time. This is so romantic. Talking about stinks. Oh, I'm so hungry. Wait a minute. Want a cheese ball?
I don't know, is Ella a liar for her story about how you gossiped about her chronic illness and accused her of faking it? Is Oliver lying about your brother Trent sending him inappropriate messages and you knowing Trent sent inappropriate messages to minors? Like, were the weenies lying when they showed this screenshot of you back in 2017 when Adam would have been 14 or 15 telling minors you should have a sleepover? Were Johnny and Adam both lying about you consistently body checking them, which you oh so cleverly alluded to in your bony little back comment just now? I mean, which person is lying? Which of these countless people who have come forward are lying? Which one's lying?
I also wanted to take a minute to talk about that girl, Miranda Sings. You know the one. Yeah, her? She's PG-13. It says that on my website, and it's always been that way. And that's why you won't find my videos on the YouTube Kids app. Anyway, I didn't realize it was my responsibility to decide what was appropriate for every kid to see. I've always relied on parents to decide if they're comfortable with their families watching my YouTube videos or coming to my live shows.
Yeah, great, PG-13, very effective, Colleen. Aside from the fact that you just opted to blame every parent in the room for your situation, I have a question. First of all, who gave you that PG-13 rating? Did the Motion Picture Association of America give you that? Because I don't think they did. And if you say that they did, then in the immortal words of Adam, bonk, you're lying.
Of course he's going to respond. Bonk.
This is so absurd. When it comes to Miranda Sings, you can see that on Netflix, that rating is actually just PG. Where is the 13? And on top of that, it is labeled family f***ing watch. Well, technically not the f***ing part. I added that for dramatic effect because what the f***? You do know that most of your videos are not age restricted, meaning anybody could just type in Miranda Sings and hop to it. Plus, and a huge shout out to Lauren Esquire on Twitter for directing this to me, your character is on the YouTube Kids app. Like, stop talking down to everyone. Colleen, please, as much as you might wish you were still talking to children, you're not. These victims have grown up. Do not talk down to them. Like Johnny said.
So this is all deflection, girl. I don't know what you thought you were doing, but you should have listened to whoever was telling you to shut the f*** up.
To be fair, Colleen, there's a lot of irony in what you're saying here. We've talked a lot before in past talks about how not responding is not the most ethical move a content creator can make. In fact, it's downright shitty, especially when it comes to, I don't know, grooming accusations, but not responding works. You know, I think James Charles is doing okay, unfortunately. We've mentioned Sunny V2, where he didn't respond to people criticizing him for transphobic content. We've mentioned Glam and Gore and her continued racism that's very publicly on display. It's just no one's like noticing or talking about it. And I think she's gonna have a movie soon. So that's how people benefit from harming vulnerable communities by the millions while pretending it didn't happen. Staying silent probably would have worked in this situation too, but I've got news for you, Colleen. Your reputation is dead, or maybe it's on life support, but it's not because of the allegations. It's because you chose to respond to allegations, child grooming, with a little ukulele song where you take on the most smug, most unsympathetic, most asinine tone imaginable. We're halfway through your own response and it's kind of done, dude.
Have I made some jokes in poor taste? Yes. Have I made lots of dumb mistakes? Yes. Am I sad that there are some fans who feel betrayed? Yes. Was my intention to manipulate? No. It doesn't really matter what my intention was, because it seems as though everyone's already decided on that. Let me tell you, it's not very fun to have millions of people all over the world call you the most vile, horrendous, disgusting, life-ruining words that a person can be called, in my opinion. It doesn't matter that these things aren't true. Everyone just believes that you are the type of person who manipulates and abuses children.
We're really close, Colleen. You admit that you made some mistakes. You admit some comments were in poor taste. You're so close to reaching the finish line if you wanted to. Because it just dawned on me that you didn't even write a new chord progression for this song. Like, okay, we're gonna get a little petty real quick. This is literally the same exact chord progression that you used in a song that you wrote about your ex-husband, Josh.
Josh, your eyes, blue eyes, see me in a different way. So when I'm feeling bad, I just look at him and I know it'll be okay.
Like, Toscos isn't even an original song, guys! Yeah, you're a wild one for this, Colleen.
So I just wanted to say that, the only thing I've ever groomed is my 2 Persian cats. I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser.
Imagine if a man sent underwear and butt pic requests to 14-year-olds and said, "I'm not a groomer, just a loser." 2 things can be true at once, Colleen. Now, we could talk about the semantics of what grooming minors means all day, Colleen, but I have 2 thoughts about this. First, here's what we defined grooming as in part 1. Someone builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. Based solely on that, I would have to disagree with you and say that you did, in my opinion, groom minors, as the multitude of evidence is overwhelming. But bloody hell, also this! Don't talk about grooming your cats, Colleen, okay? The internet is a stingy bitch.
Who didn't understand I shouldn't respond to fans, and I'm not a predator, even though a lot of you think so, because 5 years ago I made a fart joke.
Now, the characterization of Becky's story is really interesting to me because personally, when I saw TMZ's story that characterized Becky's trauma as simply being a teen fart stunt, I was filled with anger. Not just because of how flagrantly f***ing cynical it is to view allegations of child exploitation as a teen fart stunt, but because I was so worried about how Becky was going to feel about it being characterized that way. Judging by what Becky has told me in interview and what's going on her Twitter and TikTok, I don't think she appreciated having one of her most embarrassing moments from when she was a literal child diminished in this way.
Oh, poor Becky. Poor fucking Becky. Like, this whole video is garbage, but that, you nasty evil person, you.
I think what's going to be hard for me is learning to deal with the amount of backlash I got for sharing. I was vulnerable to 12 million people on TikTok and many blamed me. I was thrown into the TMZ and Popgrave things when they didn't explain anything else.
It took me about 2 years to fully come to terms with what happened on stage and to feel violated by someone that I trusted so much. So to see so many comments, kind of bringing back those questioning thoughts that I had at first has been really hard for me.
So imagine how she feels right now, hearing her once hero do the same exact thing in the middle of a cute little ukulele non-apology. Colleen, it's just flat out cruel. Like I said earlier, it's heartless. Let's say for a second, none of the many allegations, most of which have thorough evidence to support them, are true. Somebody said this was one of the most damaging moments of their childhood, and it was because of you, Colleen. And this is how you respond? How void are you? As a reminder, Colleen, this is Becky. Somebody who is 21 years old now, but was a fan dating back to when she was a literal child.
Her singing in the song that it was just a fart joke is really upsetting to me, knowing that she belittled my situation so much after explaining that it left me feeling so vulnerable and exposed. I'm already getting attacked on the internet and people are blaming me for what happened, so for her to just make it a joke and sweep it under the rug is really gonna hurt me there too, and people are just gonna take that as a sign to keep sending me hate. And I've known Colleen for years, and honestly, I truly believe that she did that on purpose, and she wants people to send me hate so that I will hide and stop talking about this. I am also incredibly angry that she took that route, because this is now like a viral internet song that I'm partially the butt of the joke of, and that's really hard to deal with, especially when it's something that you found traumatic originally.
Now, in response to your little song deflection, you've hurt somebody who dedicated the most formative years of her life to worshiping the ground you walked on and was deeply hurt and embarrassed at one of your shows. And this is how you address that hurt. Here's what she'd like to say to you.
I hope all of this backlash is just an ounce of the pain that I felt after years and years of trusting you and loving you and supporting you financially and just constant support from me, only for you to completely turn around and violate me on stage. I just hope you can feel some of that pain.
Now, luckily, despite this trauma, Becky has grown up to be an admirable young adult who already at a young age has exhibited more grace than Colleen appears to be capable of in her 36 years. Becky, you're not alone here. I hope that you know that as difficult as this continues to be for you. And I have some messages from people here that actually do support you and your valid experience. And I know all of y'all will leave comments in support, and I'm sure Becky appreciates that.
Even though I know this video won't change anyone's mind about me, I still felt it was important to come on here and defend myself a little and take accountability.
We're over 7 minutes into this, Colleen. Where is the accountability? You haven't apologized for anything. You haven't addressed most of the specific allegations against you, and the two that you did address, you flat out lied about. It's almost like you had these blockers on the entire time and saw the TMZ article and decided, like, thank goodness for TMZ, let's run with what they said. And I'm also aware of the rumor online that you, Colleen, fed this to TMZ, which makes sense to me, but I don't have any proof to support it, other than literally only you and TMZ seem to think none of us have eyes, ears, or brains, apparently. And like at this point, I am kind of curious, like, do you even know what you're supposed to be apologizing for? And do you know how weird it is to alternate between I already addressed this and changed and I won't take accountability to I'm taking accountability? Like, which is it, Colleen? Okay, we tried to get, we don't know what you saying.
To anyone out there who has ever supported me in any capacity, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. For what it's worth, I never had any bad intentions.
Allow me to read between the lines here a little, Colleen. I've never had any bad intentions when I asked a 14-year-old to dig up dirt on my ex-husband in group gossip sites. I never had any bad intentions when I made fun of my biggest fans and said she made up her chronic illness and then made a character on my Netflix show who did the same thing. I never had any bad intentions when I sent lacy panties to a 13-year-old. I never had bad intentions when I made children stick their hands down my pants on stage for a joke and everyone's laughing. I never had any bad intentions when I repeatedly sent around nude photos of my friend behind their back to body shame them for an inside joke and allegedly sent the photos to a minor. Do you realize how foolish this sounds? Unlike what happened back in 2020, all the receipts are now here and you can't hide behind the uke.
Toxic gossip train, you tie me to the tracks and harass me for my past. Rumors look like facts when you don't mind the gaps. I won't survive in the crash, but hey.
Congratulations.
Actually, you know, I feel like maybe I should let you guys know something. It seems like maybe you're confused about something. I don't know. Let me try to help. Sometimes people make a mistake and it doesn't make them a horrible person. Whoa. Sometimes people can make a mistake and they're still a good person. Crazy, I know.
I can't believe I'm witnessing someone who wrote a chorus for their apology video. Like, I never say this, but that is deeply unhinged. Like, that would be like if Jeffree Star responded to allegations against him with special guest Al Sharpton as his hype man with a gospel choir.
Hey, I feel good.
Or, you know, like if Sienna May responded to allegations of her with a TikTok tag. Okay, wait, no, this is exactly like that, but so much worse, so much worse. Well, Colleen, at least your song is done now, so.
Thank God the song's over, Jesus. Oh my.
I never grew
Wait, holy shit, Colleen. Okay, for the love of Pete Davidson, why did you put in the fake reaching for my camera thing that just looks so incredibly staged? Because, well, it is staged, and is this an encore?
Sometimes people can make a mistake. It doesn't mean you gotta send them hate. Oh no. Sometimes people can make a mistake, and you can kindly let them know and help them to grow. Sometimes people make mistakes simply because they made a mistake. A mistake doesn't make them a terrible human.
The actual high fructose audacity. Colleen, good people can make mistakes. Bad people can do good things. Here's the problem. You made a lot of mistakes. Honestly, a lot of things I wouldn't even characterize as a mistake. That sounds like giving someone a pass. You clearly are continuing to make these as recent as, I don't know, this video, but you're not doing what you say you're doing here. You're not a good person taking accountability. You're doing something a lot more sinister here by treating very real concerns as something that can be painted as a cute little manic pixie girl boss moment. And aside from the fact that it's incredibly dismissive, it's provably a lie. This entire video is functioning on one value entirely: denying, attacking, and reversing who the aggressor is.
Of course, some believed everything and have just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy?
And to paraphrase what One Topic at a Time said about Illuminaughtii, it's darkly unremarkable.
What do I know? Fuck me, right?
Things are getting so out of hand right now with the Colleen Ballinger army Discord. I mean, you know, hundreds of people were joining my Discord last night and were harassing and bullying people that were in my Discord that are threats, swatting threats. There was many attempted doxings of me from my Brighton address and my address back home.
What was that about not sending people hate, Colleen? If you meant this, and I mean truly meant this, you would say something about it, right? Because you're such a good person. You don't stand at all for Adam McIntyre being threatened and doxed by your fans, right? Responses like these that employ Darvo and just deny are monumentally negative for the idea of victims coming forward about anything at all, because let's face it, even though this video fucking flopped, and I'll explain why a little later, you're still a huge YouTuber with bazillions of views and millions of followers and a Netflix show playing a little uke and characterizing sexual harassment as a fart joke and texting minors about private parts as not being inappropriate. Check out what your ex-husband Joshua Evans has said in the wake of your video. Quote, "Anyone feeling hurt and gaslit right now, my message to you is this: your experiences were real. The proof is there. Your trauma should be taken seriously. The proof is there. Your anger is justified. The proof is there. You deserve better. Take your power back. Sending you love." It cannot be stressed enough that Josh speaking out at all and validating the stories of many of the people speaking out is also more than Colleen has ever attempted in the name of accountability. However, I want to be very clear that something I and my team are currently investigating for part 3 of this series are allegations of grooming made against Joshua Evans by Johnny Silvestri. We are still digging into that, and it is a very complex situation.
That's worse than the TMZ headlining article. The woman herself, you nasty, evil person, you.
So my gut instinct is to call this ukulele video a waste of time, because it kind of is, right? Like, what purpose does it serve other than Colleen patting herself on her bony back, as she puts it? Except that it serves a bigger purpose, a purpose you can see in the immediate visceral reaction everybody online had to her video. Starting with Adam, who tweeted, "As much as Colleen discredited and made fun of me, I'm glad her video did one thing: show you all exactly the type of evil woman she is, that that a lot of us have experienced over the past few years behind the scenes. The mask has slipped. Everyone meet the real Colleen Ballinger. Adam McIntyre has been sounding the alarm for 3 years, y'all. Like, this entire time, people have accused him of being some kind of clout-hungry drama chaser. He's been consistently trying to alert people to the fact that Colleen Ballinger is deeply up. There's a reason I came up with my tagline. It's not drama, it's dangerous. I mean, for the love of God, he didn't even start this recent discussion. Cody Tyler did. But Adam has always stayed on message, leading to the big mask-off reveal of Colleen Ballinger, the real Colleen Ballinger. And I hope now in some way that Adam might feel at least in part vindicated. Adam, you are not to blame. You are in no way suspicious, and I think that in Colleen's attempt to discredit you with a song and a dance, instead, she unintentionally vindicated you, and she'll have to live with that for the rest of her life. As far as everybody else in this story so far goes, I reached out to each of them for comment to see what they thought of the Hi video. Alex responded right away with a voice memo which said,
But when she pulled out a ukulele, I was just in pure shock. I had to go to her channel and make sure that this was an actual video that she had uploaded and, you know, not some kind of joke, because it definitely felt like one. I felt a lot of anger watching it because I feel like she was invalidating all the victims' stories and making it out like, you know, none of this is true, and also making it out like the victims that have come forward are haters, which couldn't be further from the truth. And I know from my experience, I would have done anything for Colleen in those years and supported her, you know, with everything I had, and it's just sad and, you know, very angering to see her refer to us as haters. And I feel like she just basically made a joke of the whole situation. So, yeah. I definitely don't believe Colleen has taken accountability for her actions. She had the time to write this song and make it out like a joke. And I feel like, you know, as an adult, if you feel really remorseful for something you've done like that, you know, you're going to sit down and try to take accountability for it, whether you take accountability in the way people want you to or not. But with this, she almost said, like, you know, I know people want me to admit that I'm wrong for everything, but I'm not going to do that. And I don't understand why Colleen would regard my personal experience as gossip when, you know, Corey told me I was too fat and she nodded to him approvingly, and he bullied me online and she'd like those tweets of his. I just don't understand why she'd do that when she's advocates on her channel so often for body positivity and all bodies are beautiful and that kind of thing. So surely it shouldn't be gossip to her. And on top of that, you know, I DM'd her quite a lot and she knew my story in terms of how unwell I've been, and, you know, it's just really disheartening to see her on the podcast talk about fibromyalgia in the way that she did, as if she was a doctor, and also, you know, invisible illnesses can't be seen, and she's not someone to judge all that. So I don't understand why this will be gossip to her, when it's just a really horrible thing that she has done.
Alex, you've gone above and beyond sharing your story, which I can confirm is resonating with so many people in the audience who feel seen with stories similar to your own. I am so sorry that you're in this position right now. And if Colleen won't do this, I will. This is to the people who are saying such awful things to Alex and the other victims. If your response to somebody sharing their truth is to tell them to commit self-harm, you should instead stop, take a look inside yourself, and ask yourself why you're doing this for somebody who is so quick to throw their own fans under the bus. Colleen does not care about you. She would turn around and do it to you if she had to. Ask yourself why you believe someone should commit self-harm for speaking their truth, and ask yourself who hurt you to make you feel like telling people to end their lives, which is the one thing that you cannot come back from. Who hurt you? Ask yourself why, and please find peace. You do not need to do this. Shortly after Alex responded, I got a few voice memos back from Johnny Silvestri as well. Unlike Alex, Johnny had a much more shocked but ultimately optimistic take on the ukulele video.
You know, a couple days have passed now, and so I think I've come down from the level where I felt like I was in a fever dream. I've woken up every day and this is still my reality. So that happened. That was a real thing. That was done by a real person, that was posted on the real internet, that is out there forever. And I'm okay with that. That's who she is. And I don't really think it's what I was expecting, but I'm not sure how I could have expected any less. So I'm at peace. I feel good today. I know this is probably going to get uglier, but I feel good today.
But that being said, Johnny also had some choice words to share on the part of the video that he takes the biggest offense to, the idea that all of them are just having fun.
I clearly didn't address it in 2020 when I should have, and when I should have backed up Adam the first time. But unfortunately, Cody, not minding their business and trying to get some cash for clicks, decided to pull all this back out. Shoot, if this didn't happen, I still would have just been bartending, minding my own business this last week. Instead, I've been bartending, pretending like my life isn't complete and utter chaos, and then coming home to complete and utter chaos, and doing that for the last month, and it is absolutely, utterly exhausting. So, that look in her eyes, that smirk on her face when she said, "But you're having fun." I really hope she eats those words, because this has been nothing, absolutely nothing but a nightmare.
Characterizing this for each of these people as having fun, given everything we know, not only about their stories, but about trauma in general, is an absolutely sickening way to characterize what they're going through. I've said it before and I will say it again, speaking up about injustice, especially when it relates to your own trauma, is not clout chasing. And it's sickening for anybody to imply that reopening old wounds you didn't want to open will actually be beneficial in any way to these people other than to provide them some closure. Period. Now, I couldn't get everyone else's audio responses on time before I went to production, but they all reacted in real time to the video on Twitter and in DMs. Soph, someone we've quoted a lot throughout these videos and who we'll be speaking more in depth with in an interview for part 3, tweeted this. "To be honest, I don't know why I'm crying, but I am. Like having this woman who was my role model and quite literally the only woman influence in my life just sit there and sing a stupid song to my friends, mine and other people's trauma makes me sick. She just doesn't care." And Soph, I am really sorry that she doesn't care. Your pain is valid and you deserve so much better than Colleen is offering. I don't know how much of what I'm saying matters, but I guarantee that there are more people resonating with you and everyone else's stories at this point than there are people who think a ukulele song was the way to handle this. Now, Oliver, who I will be interviewing for part 3, Oliver kept his response on Twitter quite simple. "Our goal isn't to ruin her life. We did want her to take accountability." What? What Oliver is saying here, if you haven't noticed, is in line with what everybody else has been saying. Everybody wants Colleen Ballinger to take accountability, and she did not. In relation to Oliver, everybody also wants her to talk about the allegations that not only did Trent Ballinger allegedly try to groom a child, her brother, but this was something Colleen allegedly knew enough about to tell him not to do it, but didn't stop it. Colleen, please. Now, Ella's initial response broke my heart because from everything I've learned about Ella, it checks out with the type of person she is. Her response wasn't in relation to her own pain. It was in relation to Becky's pain. Quote, minimizing what happened to Becky by saying that it was a fart joke is actually so effed. A few hours later, Ella said a bit more with, quote, I don't like to speak about this, but to clarify, I have made no money and have gained nothing from finding out that the person I loved so much was talking me behind my back for years. Her apology was empty and meaningless. If anything, it was hurtful. Short, sweet, and to the point, but I am still so very sorry, Ella, for what you're having to go through. Which leads me to Becky's response. Now, I'm going to share her 2 threads on the matter in full. Thread 1 says, quote, I haven't watched it, but I have one thing to say before I do, and it's directly to Miss Colleen Ballinger. You, Colleen. Anyone who knows me knows I spent years being this woman's biggest supporter. I did everything for you, Colleen. I supported you in any way a teenage girl could. You know as well as I do that I never would have taken to the internet to post the story unless it hurt me deeply and I wanted others to not go through what I did. You know I normally would never say a bad word against you. I haven't seen what you've said yet, but from the reactions of others, I'm already livid. To make my story a joke is disgusting. You claim to love me for years. This is how you treat someone you love. I made myself extremely vulnerable on the internet by talking about my situation. I expected you would, or at least care to some degree, but I was clearly extremely mistaken. So again, f you. I wish I could take all my years of loving you back. Powerful words. And thread 2 came after Becky finally watched the video. Quote, before you block me, Colleen, I want you to see that this is the girl you made fun of and invalidated today. This is me supporting you for years. Everything I did was because of you. Girl, I literally helped you with something last year. To call me part of the manipulation hate train or whatever is the biggest slap in the face. I posted what I did on the internet in hopes you would make your shows safer for kids. Instead, you went and made a mockery of everything. You think all these haters or whatever are these random people, but that's not true. The people trying to hold you accountable are your fans, and you walked all over us today. You should be ashamed, and I feel incredibly sorry for my younger self and everything she has lost because of you. Now, I did follow up again with Becky and ask if I could ask her thoughts about the great ukulele disaster of 2023, and in the 11th hour, I was able to get it in the edit, and here's what she had to share with me.
When I first watched Colleen's response video, I was just honestly shocked and appalled that she took that route, because the Colleen that I knew for so many years would always, comfort us when we were upset, or she would send us love when we needed it. So to see her just make a joke out of everything that we've brought up to her was shocking to me, because this just doesn't feel like the Colleen that I know. Colleen has absolutely not taken accountability. Accountability would mean for her that she would acknowledge what she did and explain why it was wrong to her fans. Then she would apologize and work on stopping that behavior. In my opinion, that would be stopping Miranda. In that response video, she did absolutely none of those things. She even said she wasn't going to apologize because this was just gossip or whatever. But I definitely do not think this was gossip. She hurt some of her most loyal fans, and they were just looking for answers from her. So for her to just say this is the manipulation gossip train is just crazy and so backhanded to them.
Becky, I know I sound like a broken record here, but this was not your fault. You've been incredibly brave throughout all of this, and it was incredibly brave of you to share your story publicly. I do believe that you are looking out for other kids so that they don't have to go through the same things that you did. And I just know in my core that you are going to continue to grow into a just wonderful human that is going to do so much for this world, more than even you already have. So thank you for sharing your story.
The victims of Miranda Sings, Colleen Ballinger here, definitely aren't having any fun here. This has been mentally damaging shit that they've carried for a long time.
Even aside from what the victim said, this couldn't have turned out worse for Colleen Ballinger. This caught the attention of all the bigger creators, or at least the ones who weren't Colleen's friends before. On Twitter, Mutahar chimed in and tweeted, "Bro, she whipped out the musical instruments when responding to child grooming allegations." Now, Drew Gooden, ironically in very Drew fashion, tweeted, "This is the greatest apology video of all time." Nick is Not Green tweeted, "Hall of Fame YouTube apology just dropped from Colleen Ballinger. Today will be remembered in the YouTuber history book." Curtis Connor, love Curtis, tweeted, "I can't believe this video is actually real. Who the f*** told her this was a good idea at all? Holy it, dude. And talk about a crossover, okay? None other than Wonderstruck Guy, who you may remember from the Illuminaughtii doc, tweeted, "She really thinks she can just Steven Universe her way out of damning allegations." And no, friends, I'm not done. Francesca Ramsey tweeted, "Colleen Ballinger really thought singing 'I'm not a groomer, I'm just a loser' was a cute way to respond to the very serious allegations that have been levied against her, and it's beyond sick." I mean, Tana Mojo responded by laughing at the video on her TikTok. Tana Mojo! I mean, people are even making Guitar Hero mods out of Colleen's video. Howie Mandel entered the freaking chat. Okay, that's a thing. But Moist Critical had one of the most to-the-point takeaways.
Hey, imagine most people don't have fun learning that people they grew up watching or people they were at least aware of being a big influence turned out to be absolute f***ing scumbags, groomers, predators, all these horrible things. Like, no one has fun with accusations like that, I don't think. Certainly not the victims of it. The victims of Miranda Sings, Colleen Ballinger here, definitely aren't having any fun here. This has been mentally damaging shit that they've carried for a long time.
I mean, this non-apology video has blown up in a way I don't think anybody has ever expected, and it's a prime example of something called the Streisand effect. Which, holy shit-a-butts, okay, this is the most absolutely weird-ass, wild-ass story. The Streisand effect is when somebody tries to hide, censor, or like remark on a situation, but ironically ends up exposing the situation to a much wider audience. This is so wild. The term is a reference to a time in 2003 when photographer Kenneth Adelman published a photograph of Barbra Streisand's mansion to the website Pictopia, and Babs sued him for $50 million. Get that bag, Babs.
You know what I'm saying? Money on my watch. I mean, time is money. Money on my phone. I mean, I talk to the money. Money on my chain. I mean, the money hang with me.
Now, at the time of the lawsuit, the picture had been downloaded exactly 6 times. That's, what is it? 6. Like, I'm not missing any zeros there. Just 6 times. But after the lawsuit, 420,000 people went to Pictopia in 1 month. And like, I remember when Adam posted his video, I remember thinking and saying to my team, I think this is going to turn into a massive story. But for some reason, nobody is talking about it, and they really should be. Now, over time, as it picked up, some of the videos about the subject cracked 1 million views, and there were tens of thousands of retweets of some of the allegations. But after Colleen posted hi, just 2 days later, her video sat at 4.5 million views. By July 4th, the video sat at over 1 million dislikes. Why? Because the mainstream media caught on. Variety published an article about her non-apology. The Daily Beast published an article. Even TMZ re-entered the chat. You know how I feel about that, with an article that's almost entirely just a collection of everybody else's reaction to the video. But NBC has covered it multiple times. Rolling Stone has published 2 articles about the allegations and Colleen's video. Time Magazine, BBC. We all know the BBC is just over there minding their own damn business. When the BBC enters the chat, then you know you don't up. USA Today joined the LA Times, Jezebel, Insider, Huffington Post twice. Even Howie Mandel is chimed in with a parody of the song for, and in fact, Curtis Connor even began a meme composition on his Curtistown platform about the video. And as effing wild as this embarrassing freight train is, in my opinion, still the responses that truly matter are the ones made by those affected.
Many years ago, I used to message my fans, but not in a creepy way like a lot of you are trying to suggest. It was more of a loser kind of way.
It also wasn't many years ago. You were doing it when I posted my 2020 video.
We have the screenshots as well, but
I thought this video was about facts.
I was just trying to be besties with everybody.
Besties with children. Don't really know if that's helping your case.
So, this is so much like the Streisand effect that, in honor of Babs being an actual legend who doesn't deserve that treatment anymore, I'm proposing right here, right now, that we all stop using the term the Streisand effect and start calling it the Colleen Ballinger effect, so that we can cement her legacy the way it truly deserves. Class dismissed.
the text came out last night, and my heart started racing. I was triggered. I haven't been triggered in a while, but I was triggered.
Now, as a reminder, a huge part of this story is Colleen sending DMs to group chats containing nude photos of Trisha Paytas with the express purpose of body shaming her. Oh, and some of those messages allegedly went to 15-year-old Adam McIntyre. That is literally a federal crime. And in part one, I even spelled out that somehow Trisha Paytas could be the reason Colleen Ballinger sees the inside of a jail cell. And bitch, that is so much closer to being a reality now than you might think. So on the evening of July 2nd, 2023, Johnny Silvestri tweeted out evidence that these photos were indeed sent to him when he posted multiple screenshots of Trisha's nudes being distributed by a phone number he alleges is Colleen Ballinger's. Now, I'm not gonna share these photos, and I do not personally think Johnny should have publicly shared these photos in the way that he did. I mean, let me make it clear, I understand why he did and why he felt like he had to. That makes total sense, but I don't think that they should have been shared, at least not with that extremely small amount of censorship or putting Colleen's face over certain body parts of Trisha. Like, if I'm being fully transparent here, I have some personal thoughts about the ethics of posting something like that without Trisha's consent, especially given that those images come from behind a paywall and were never posted to the public by Trisha. I've seen the claim, kind of float around that they were public. That is not correct. Say what you will about Trisha Paytas. I'm not here to discuss her past, but she's a victim in this too. One who got pushed into this without warning, and she was the punchline to Colleen, and I don't think she needs to be the punchline anymore. Hi, future Swoop dropping in really quick. So at the time that I had filmed this doc, I had made a request in it that I was going to ask Johnny if he might consider taking down the Trisha photos now that everything has played out this way. But I actually since then had a chance to sit down for a 6-hour interview with Johnny, and here's what he said. Well, now that Trisha has made a video and shared her thoughts, now that she has responded, I'm not going to say, one way or another or what you should do or anything. I'm just wanted to ask if there might be a time where you might consider taking those tweets down now that they kind of have served their purpose.
Some of them did get taken down. That is actually why I was put in Twitter jail, because of some of the photos. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, it just seemed stupid to me, because I was like, okay, I get it. But also, these are like crucial to my story. But then I was like, okay, they're out there. And even this conversation with you now, like, just hearing your perspective, you're someone I really respect. I jumped the gun sharing some information. I thought I was going to get silenced. I thought all my social media was going to get taken away and I would never have a chance to display this stuff. So I kind of did word vomit and not think about the consequences.
If someone posted old photos of me, I would, with fully clothed, I'd be like, there's like a kind of a moment.
I totally get that. And I mean, in hindsight, it's a fair argument. Not because I feel like I need to now, but now I want to take them down, because you're right. I mean, they serve their purpose. Trisha spoke out about it. I don't want to be one of those people who leaves up garbage just because it was put out there, A
few hours after our interview, Johnny did go and take down the pictures of Trish that were on his Twitter. So, Johnny, I just wanted to say I appreciate you taking that into account and removing them, and I think that was the right thing to do. And then a few days after our interview, he confirmed on the H3 podcast that he did, in fact, take them down. So, I know there were some people that were concerned that the pictures were still up there, so I just wanted to give you the update that they have now been taken down. So that's just a little piece of the interview that I did with Johnny that will be featured in part 3. It is an intense interview, and we cover some things that just have not really been discussed anywhere, and it's eye-opening, to say the least. And there is also a bombshell that might happen in part 3. I have been waiting to even be able to speak about this, and I still can't because we are waiting for some things to be confirmed. But if that is the case, then part 3 is going to be just mind-boggling, so be ready for that. Now, whatever the methods used, these screenshots being shared were enough to inspire Trisha Paytas to finally speak up about this. First, by unfollowing Colleen on Instagram, and next by posting this.
I think we should stop making fun of people's bodies. Like, people who make fun of people's bodies, like, they have to have the lowest level of intelligence. That's all they can come up with, you know?
And then finally, on July 3rd, 2023, she posted a video titled simply, Colleen. If you know anything at all about Trisha Paytas, the tone Trisha strikes here is, in my opinion, shocking. Because Trisha isn't coming for blood the way people knew her in the past to do. Trisha is devastated. I want to preface all of this by saying that what I'm about to talk about has nothing to do with anything Trisha Paytas has done or allegedly done in the past. Yes, Trisha has done and has allegedly done some truly horrendous, potentially unforgivable things in the past, including actively deleting the comments, asking her to make a statement about this case during a live stream of an episode of Oversharing. And there's also the takeaway some of you may have that Trisha Paytas didn't care about child grooming allegations, but she cares now that her own nude photos are involved. But there is no such thing as a perfect victim, and the facts are these. A friend of Trisha's sent Trisha's nude photos regularly to group chats that may or may not have included minors without Trisha's consent. This was her friend. Okay, first of all, can you imagine going on the internet looking up your friend's OnlyFans to see your friend's nudes and like pay for a membership and download your friend's photos and share photos of your nude friend with your other friends? Like, what the actual insecure bitch ass energy is this? And if you flip it, can you imagine if you found out one day out of nowhere that your friend had looked up nude photos of you and was texting your pics to their friends, and then your nude photos wound up posted on the internet with the entire world looking and every news publication reposting your photos? That was Trisha's friend Colleen doing that to her. And I believe, human to human, Trisha has a right to be upset about that. And as you're gonna see in the video as we show it, Colleen Ballinger gave her what Trisha believed was very valid reasons to trust her above all else in this situation. I think this video, if anything, shows that Trisha doesn't only care because it's her pictures, she cares because, in my opinion, she was lied to, manipulated, and duped just like any of Colleen Ballinger's other victims. It just took something truly shocking, personally, to shake her out of the prison that gaslighting can hold you in. Now, as far as the court of public opinion goes, Colleen has put Trisha in a very difficult position where if she doesn't speak out against her friend, who she trusted for a long time, then people are going to accuse her of supporting an alleged groomer. And if she does speak out against someone who she considered a friend, then she can be accused of being a traitor without loyalty to her friends. It is shitty position, and to be fair, one that doesn't excuse Trisha of anything she's allegedly done in the past, but it's still not an easy position to be in, so her speaking out at all is, I believe, a big deal.
So this is a video that I like really did not want to make, and I feel like the past few years I've really taken a step back from having to comment on everything, having to respond to everything said about me on the internet, because at the end of the day it just gets really exhausting.
Throughout the opening minutes of the video, Trisha outlines that her friendship was always somewhat cordial with Colleen Ballinger, but wasn't a friendship that she would call close. However, the two of them came up with the idea to start a podcast with video elements called Oversharing, where the two of them would dress up in silly costumes and talk about everything from being moms to the lasting effect of social media. But only 3 episodes into Oversharing's run, Trisha alleges that she first heard about the most recent allegations against Colleen, allegations that she very clearly is uncomfortable talking about.
When all this came out, I was shocked, you know, the group chats and stuff, I was kind of shocked. And it's such a difficult thing because Colleen is someone that I quickly, literally in the past month that we did this podcast, like I really like cared about and really like related to. I thought, well, she told me she'd get canceled here and there, and she kind of understood when people would come for her for working with me, because I've done stuff in my past that's you know, not cool by today's standards, you know? And her video came out and I was just shocked, to say the least, that she didn't at least acknowledge the stuff that her own fans were saying, how they felt, you know, to kind of brush it over in the way she did, and, you know, ultimately became like memes, and now it becomes somewhat lighthearted, even though it's not a lighthearted issue.
Now, in keeping in line with what I said earlier, this makes what Trisha is doing a huge deal. Oversharing was a professionally made and sponsored podcast, a business deal, if you will, which means that by making this video and speaking out so clearly against Colleen, she is literally sacrificing some of her own livelihood and income stream just to make this video. Trisha speaking so overtly against Colleen Ballinger is a big deal. Now, where Trisha's video becomes really interesting, however, is when she says this.
I was shocked, and she sent me the link to her video, her apology video, and I didn't respond back to it because I was shocked.
Colleen Ballinger sent a video response to allegations of grooming and distributing minors, where she plays a ukulele for 10 minutes. To Trisha Paytas? What? Like, what? Child, what the with Colleen? Okay, I cannot stress enough before we move on that this revelation, if true, is one of the absolute strangest parts about the High video. And like, we just went through that video. Yeah, it's all weird, but then Trisha gets into the allegations about her nudes. This is, you know, kind of a longer clip, but I think it's worth watching in full.
Both one I believe was 20 at the time and one who was 14 at the time. Both the 14-year-olds alleged, because I didn't speak on this because I didn't see anything. And I'm not to say that I don't believe this person. It's just a very, very, very serious allegation. It's very illegal. So I was kind of waiting to see what would kind of come out, if anything, before I had to make this video and this statement. And I hate putting any energy into this, but it's very, very serious. It's very serious. And it's a topic I don't take lightly and I can't take lightly, as I am a full-time sex worker. I don't think that's a secret. It's not as advertised as it once was, but we already have a lot of stigma, misconceptions, allegations against us sex workers. And so I need to nip this in the bud, that I do not condone at all unsolicited nudes, sending unsolicited nudes to anyone of anybody. Using someone's nudes as a way to hurt them, make fun of them, make light of them, be mean is the lowest form of human, the lowest form of intelligence. I think that's so inhumane. I think that's so disgusting for anyone. The text messages were shown, and it's very clearly from Colleen to a fan. I'm not embarrassed I'm embarrassed for her. I try to take myself out of these equations when I'm feeling triggered. I wouldn't be humiliated for the person in the photos. I'd be humiliated for the person who sent them. Although it can be humiliating for the person in the photos as well. While I'm thankful he posted them so I could see that this is real, hearing all that horrible stuff underneath the photo, like about my body just being messed up or disgusting, and it's a lot. Yes, I chose this job, and yes, I make money doing it, but it never feels good to have someone just like make fun of your naked body. It's just a really vulnerable thing.
Within that clip, which I know is a bit of a doozy, Trisha lays it out plain as day what Colleen Ballinger allegedly did by sending Adam McIntyre Trisha's pics is illegal. Now, Trisha states that the texts are indeed from Colleen. Trisha also outlines that even if she's a S worker, these are photos being shared with the express purpose of shaming Trisha's body, which is a little wild, since on Trish and Colleen's own podcast on May 30th, 2023, literally like a month ago, Colleen says this.
Beautiful, obviously, and I think I've never once have I ever looked at you and thought anything negative about your body.
I always think I look good too. I always think I look really pretty. But I know, I also think like, one, I did gain weight, but also like size comparison. When I'm next to somebody, people used to do this with me and Moses all the time. It's like, look at her compared to Moses. And so like, yeah, if someone is smaller next to me, I look a little bigger, you know?
Well, I mean,
I'm obsessed with your body, though. I always think, like, when you tell me, oh, people call me chicken legs in school, I'm like, I really have those legs.
Yeah, well, that is not, okay. I think any talk about anyone else's body and shaming anyone else's body, I think is so obnoxious. And I think it can go both ways, but I do think, and this is my own personal opinion, I do think that it is much harder for bigger girls than it is for skinny girls, obviously, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that to be like skinny girls don't get made fun of or whatever. Like whenever I'm skinny, immediately all the comments are, people tell me I have an eating disorder every day.
Now the argument can definitely be made that since Colleen has done this, she's changed her mind. She's grown, she's taken accountability, as her song would claim. And it would be really easy for me to say, you, Colleen, you didn't even deserve the benefit of the doubt and move on, except, well, okay, I'm gonna jump ahead in Trisha's video for just a second where she says,
I did ask her about these a couple weeks ago before there was the proof, so to speak, right? And she assured me that she had never sent photos of me, that this one fan who was underage at the time would send photos to her. She's like, no, he was a fan. He sent photos to me and he was obsessed with you. And he would just send me it. And once in a while, I'd like respond to him and be like, hey, okay. That's what she told me a couple weeks ago. There's a clip of her saying she saw a whale squirt and she wasn't talking about Trisha Paytas. I sent her that as well. And she said everything's taken out of context. Like these are lies. Being as I was like her friend and I knew her as a person, I was trusting her, I guess. Because I mean, overall, who do you trust? Like this person you know in real life or people you don't know anything about?
So Colleen, this train you say is made of lies. Did you build the train yourself? I mean, I was unaware of your engineering prowess because this tells me that you apparently lied to Trisha Paytas about having done this and then proceeded to pin the blame yet again on Adam McIntyre. Why is that? In response to all of this, Adam himself tweeted that Colleen blamed me yet again in 2023 to Trisha Paytas for stuff she did to try to get out of the responsibility. You're sick, Colleen. Actually a sick and you deserve all the negativity. And thank you, Trisha Paytas, for speaking up. Our dude was pissed and like, yeah, can you blame him? What makes all of this even worse is that Colleen did this shortly after giving birth to her first child. And even worse, it was only 1 month after Trisha met Colleen's child.
A long time ago, this is someone well into their 30s, just gave birth sending nudes. And a month prior, I was in her house meeting her child and doing a mukbang, meeting her newborn and doing a mukbang with her. In these texts, there's also friends of hers. They showed the viewing parties that were talked about to make fun of me. They did viewing parties of my adult content to make fun of me. And there's a friend of hers who I actually met as well back in 2018 with his face posing next to explicit images of me. And there was a video of it, and it's a lot.
Now, after Trisha talked to Colleen about this, she claims she trusted Colleen because, like, why wouldn't she? She thought Colleen was her friend. You know, sound familiar? But what seems to confuse Trisha the most is that Colleen would straight up lie to her.
Options there for her to say like, yeah, that was a while ago. I was a hater. I mean, I'm the first to say like, I've definitely have been a hater in the past. I've been miserable in my own life. I've been going through shit in my own life in the past. And I was miserable and I hated on people for sure. But I kind of gave her outs because I was like, hey, like, you know, we've talked crap about me. That's fine. We weren't that close back then, I guess. Like, you know, whatever. And she vehemently denied, no, I never sent pictures of you. Like the underage fan would send me pictures of you, not specifying if they were nude or not. The text came out last night and my heart started racing. I was triggered. I haven't been triggered in a while and I was triggered. My heart was racing, my stomach, I was sick to my stomach. And I don't know, I guess seeing stuff like that, that's probably the worst I've seen from someone that I've like considered a friend. Like it's pretty barbaric. It's pretty misogynistic. And it is downright cruel. It's It's a low level of a person.
Trisha's honestly not wrong. And again, whatever you want to call Trisha Paytas out for, I hear you, and I might even agree on the takes, but let's be real here. Trisha Paytas is entitled to be mad about this. I'm mad about this because Colleen Ballinger may have committed a felony for an inside joke, and in the process, humiliated one of her friends for years and then lied about it to that friend. That should not have happened. Now, about 16 minutes in, Trisha makes it clear that she wants to apologize to Adam and Johnny, though strangely she doesn't name them.
I am so sorry to that person. If this is true, I'm so sorry. I know firsthand how traumatizing that can be. I had nothing to do with this. I do not condone it. I think it's the most disgusting thing, and above all else, illegal. And to the person she sent, who was, I think, 20 at the time, maybe 21. I still think it's disgusting. A grown woman in their 30s doing this to someone who is in their house, been around their family. Like, you have some issues. It's a sickness.
This is not Trisha Paytas' mess. If everything went down as has been described, someone, possibly even Colleen Ballinger herself, bought a subscription to Trishyland, which was Trisha's, like OnlyFans type platform before OnlyFans existed, with the express purpose of sharing Trisha's exposed photos and mocking them with people. And as it turns out, some of those people were allegedly underage, which again is a federal crime. Colleen Ballinger inadvertently dragged Trisha into this, and she's fully in her right to say, yeah, no, screw that.
And I don't think this is jumping on a hate bandwagon. This is like, hey, maybe she doesn't get it. What she did was wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe I just had to make this video to say I don't stand behind Colleen whatsoever. Her video was not an apology, and it took away from the severity of her actions of talking to minors, bringing minors on stage at her show. These people are speaking up and they're uncomfortable for a reason. Acknowledge it, change it, do better. But I don't stand by her. I'm embarrassed to be associated with her. I'm embarrassed for the fans that she messaged those to. That's should never have happened.
It's time to say something. It's time to actually take accountability. Remember what Adam McIntyre said. He will stop talking about this if you just genuinely apologize privately and publicly to him and his mother. And I'm sure maybe some of the other victims feel the same. Okay, I need a whole just gaggle of cute kitties on my screen to cleanse my palate after all of this. These babies, they just warm my soul. I love them so much. Remember to grab your Petty University apparel linked below and join the community, and get excited because I will be dropping a brand new collection, hopefully in part 3 of this series. Hopefully it will be done by then. I want to get it out to you as soon as possible. You're going to love it. Now, usually at this part in my documentaries, I do Twitter shout outs, but this time I want to feature some tweets that some of the brave victims shared about part 1 of this docu-series. First one comes from Adam, who shared, "Thank you, Swoop, for everything. The support you have shown both privately and publicly is so incredible." And Adam, I'm gonna keep saying this to you, you don't need to thank me. Your voice deserves to be elevated, and if I can help do that in any way, that's what I am here to do. Next up is Alex, who said, "Just finished the documentary and I cried a lot. Thank you for giving my voice this platform and for being so supportive and professional, both publicly and behind the scenes. You're a really wonderful human." And again, it kind of blows me away that like y'all are going through something just truly so tragic and awful, and you still are like kind to the people around you, and I appreciate you very much, Alex. Alex later went on to say something that I wanted to for sure share with all of you watching, all of you in the Petty University community, as you all have been so incredibly kind and supportive of these victims in the comments. And so, quote, "I'm in tears going through the comments on this and seeing so much support for me. Seeing that my words have helped others with chronic illness and others feeling comfortable enough to share their chronic illness stories is truly healing. Some something in me. I can't say it enough, all of y'all watching who continue to watch these docs and be part of this community, that when you share these comments to the victims, oftentimes they do see them, and your words are speaking directly to them as well as mine, and I think that is such a beautiful thing. So thank you for being just as kind and amazing to them in these difficult times. Here are some thoughts from Johnny, who shared, OMG, Swoop, I'm only 3 minutes in and my eyes are locked on the screen. I can already tell you did such a fantastic job on this documentary and really put your heart and soul into it. Thank you for amplifying our voices. And like I said to Adam, that's what I'm here to try to do as best that I can, to help amplify the stories that should be heard. Some thoughts from Ella, who said, thank you so much, you're a warrior. Spoonies stick together. Ella, yes, absolutely, spoonies. We are here supporting each other, and I appreciate you so much, and I'm wishing you nothing but healing. And finally, Becky, who said, I finally got to watch Swoop's documentary on Colleen, and wow, this is the most concise but also compassionate docu I've ever seen. The way you handled my story with delicacy and love made me cry. I can't thank you enough for this. And again, I'm so humbled by you even taking the time to thank me, because you certainly don't have to do that. And all I hope is that this work helps to provide some, at least bridge to some healing. That's all I could possibly hope for. So again, thank you everyone who took the time to watch part 1 and lift these humans up. I think your support continues to go a long way towards helping people heal. And hopefully also you've been able to maybe learn something in your own situation and own life to help better protect you if you are experiencing any type of abuse. We truly have such a powerful community here, our valid, brilliant, petty community. I'm so proud of everyone who has come forward and proud of all of you for your kindness. In fact, as y'all know, my Twitter DMs are open, and I received this message from a mom named Amy from the UK who gave me permission to share her message here, which truly underscores the power of victims coming forward, the power of giving them a platform to be heard, and the power of all of you, this community. So I'm gonna read a few segments of this. Hey Swoop, I just wanted to drop you a PM and say how very grateful I am for your last doc on Colleen. You have no idea how helpful and instrumental it has been for me. To put into context, I am a mother to a 13-year-old boy who is an avid follower of Colleen/Miranda and watches her on YouTube and Netflix. She wouldn't even be on my radar if I didn't share a Netflix account and YouTube account on a family plan with my son and be able to see what he's watching. And if I'd not been a follower of yours, I wouldn't have known how problematic she is. I always got an icky feeling about her, and from now on, I'm going to trust my gut. After watching your doc, I immediately jumped in the parents group chat and brought this all to the attention of my son's friends' parents, to which they just brushed it off as silly online drama, to which I literally replied, it's not drama, it's dangerous. So thanks for that little tagline. And I directed them to your doc, and afterwards they were all horrified, and we have since banned our kids from watching her and explained in very serious terms why, so they understand and recognize what grooming is. So it's been educational for us all. If it wasn't for Adam's bravery at coming forward and you with your finger on the pulse and such an amazing way at stating the facts with receipts, etc., I don't think I would have been as successful at warning other parents. I'm so glad I'm a part of your online community, as it's helped a group of parents in the UK who otherwise would be out of the loop safeguard their children and gave us an opportunity to talk openly with our kids about grooming in a context they could understand. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing what you do. Sending you much love from the UK. And thank you, Amy. That says it all right there. This is the reason why I spend so much time, why my team and I are so committed to highlighting these stories, because together with this community that we've all built together, all 500K strong of us now, we are making an impact. I truly know that to be a fact. We are changing the conversation around abuse, and I couldn't be more proud and more blessed to be able to do that with all of you. So thank you. thank you so much with all of my heart. If you want to be my next Twitter shout out, make sure to follow me on Twitter at SpankyV, linked below, and retweet this video right here. You can also hit me up on Instagram, linked in the description. That is where I post most often and respond to a lot of DMs. Again, we're trying to get Instagram to 100,000 followers because I do a lot of posting over there. And hopefully we will hit the 100K goal there very soon. Be sure to check out Helix Sleep, linked below, or go to helixsleep.com/swoop to get a huge 20% off your Helix mattress, plus 2 free pillows, and treat yourself to the best sleep ever. You deserve it, honey. I'm just gonna cut straight to it. I have no idea what Colleen Ballinger was thinking when she put out Hi. And the truth is, it made everything so much worse for her. Much like when Brittany Dawn Nelson put out her testimonial podcast recently, telling the story behind her owing the state of Texas $500,000 for bad business practices that harmed many women with EDs, or iilluminaughtii apologizing to Legal Eagle by bringing up bonkers personal drama with other creators for half an hour and crying, or even DaddyOFive's whole screed against the haters before he lost his damn kids. All of this boils down to one thing and one thing alone: ego. Colleen Ballinger does not give shit about taking accountability for the many ways she hurt her fans. In my opinion, she just wants them to shut up. It's why she made such an angry video in 2020 about Adam that never actually apologized to him or took accountability. It's why it took her nearly a month to release this, although, you know, she had a lot of lyrics to memorize. It's why she's been making passive-aggressive statements on stage at her live shows. And it's why she's chosen to characterize dozens of allegations as a toxic gossip train. This is because Colleen Ballinger is most likely driven by a narcissistic urge to somehow always be the center of attention, but only in the way she wants people to talk about her. And given the history here, she doesn't change. Sure, there are little things she's dropped the act on over the years, from actively racist content or some of her more publicly damaging statements from before. But in private, well, transphobic and ableist when denying Ella's gender and chronic illness, and basing an entire character of her Netflix show off of mocking, well, everyone with fibromyalgia, you know, people like me. Fat-phobic in all of her body check glory, as well as with Alex. Sexually inappropriate with a massive amount of kids she met on stage and off, seen most prominently with Becky and Adam. Wage theft from Adam and Johnny, but with a big ol' smile. An enabler of her brother's own alleged transgressions, as seen with Oliver, while also being ableist and allegedly building her entire persona off of mocking her brother's disability. An enabler of her best friend Corey's own shittiness and weirdness too. Colleen, if there's a toxic gossip train, you're the conductor, and the train's on your side of the tracks. It's up to you and you alone if you want to take that train into the station and dismantle it for good and put an end to all of this hate. Oh, and by the way, Colleen Ballinger still has not responded to my request for comment. Yep, so let me try this again, directly and publicly. Colleen, we've heard from Adam McIntyre, Johnny Silvestri, Becky, Alex, Ella, Oliver. I've spoken to April Quio, who's accused you of truly horrendous racist behavior. We will be covering in part 3. And I'll also be speaking more in depth with Oliver, and also Soph, who has a thing or two to say about all of this. I've also reached out to Trisha Paytas because we now know that you were body shaming your bestie's nude body and sending them to people, which means that we're much closer to finding out for sure if you sent them to a 15-year-old Adam McIntyre, which, Colleen, that's a federal crime. So all of this to say, my team and I have spoken to just about everybody, Colleen, and if I haven't, I will. We've still yet to actually hear from you and Corey DeSoto. Both of you are invited to come speak to me anytime via video chat or in person. And I'll promise you this, I'll be fair in the interview, but I won't let you lie. Not again. But you know, when all else fails, stay ready, stay petty. Class dismissed. Swoop!